If I have no money and I have to feed my family and I have to pay bills or I'm going bankrupt, I am going to probably do some things that ordinarily I would not. Hey there, Coach Devin here. The other day I made a video that was about the fact that big box stores are open and all the other small businesses are closed in Nova Scotia. Talked a little bit about the fact that, non-essential things are being sold in big box stores and how frustrating that is for small businesses out there. Now, obviously that wasn't about me because big box stores don't sell fitness, right? I mean, they don't do personal training, but I was speaking for all the other small business owners out there who needed to get that message out that, this is not reasonable. And I touched a little bit on what Premier Rankin said with, saying, we asked the big box stores not to do it. Really was hard. But basically he led us to believe that, the big box store said no, and he said, well, shoot, okay. And I also touched a little bit about Maureen McDonald. I keep saying McNeil, I'm sorry about that. Maureen McDonald, who said that, if any more small businesses complained, she was going to Walmart to buy the most useless things she could find because how dare you complain during a pandemic. Former MLA just shooting off her mouth on Twitter. I get it. That's what Twitter's for. I had some thoughts for Maureen. What I want to do today, though, to be honest, was talk a little bit about how a reopening, I think, should look. Now, I'll be clear. Not in government. Not an epidemiologist. I own a gym. I know about health and fitness. So what I can say is that I know a little bit about the health and fitness side of things, but do I know how to reopen an economy? No, I don't. But I do think there's some common sense ways to do this. Premier Rankin, Dr. Strang talked a lot about, we're really working on coming up with a way to reopen the economy. Okay, we've reopened the economy before. We did it in June of last year. We did it again when a bunch of things, including my business, was closed down in December. It's not rocket science. And I think we really can do this in a simple, safe, and effective manner. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to be the guy who's going on there just complaining. Everybody can complain. The question is, can you give options? You know what I mean? Can you bring something up to the table to say, hey, this is the way to do it? So right now, where we are is all the small businesses are closed. The big box stores are open. The reason the big box stores are open is partly because of the fact they sell food, pharmaceutical stuff. Those are essential things. We need those. So obviously they get to be open. The Walmarts of the world, etc., Costco's. People are buying whatever the hell they want. I get it. I understand. You know what? We've all probably bought something that we didn't need. I think I'm probably guilty of that too. But what is frustrating, obviously, for small businesses is there's small businesses out there that sell this thing. Walmart is selling the same thing. Walmart is open. This business is closed. How do we solve this problem? Well, I think we can pretty clearly see that shutdowns, maybe, are they good or are they bad? I'm not going to get into whether or not they're good or bad. I'm going to talk about how to open the economy. So how do we reopen the economy? I think it actually is not rocket science. Right now we have NSLC, we've got all the grocery stores, pharmacies, big box stores, they're all open and rocking out. Okay, they're at 25% capacity. Now, in a Walmart, a 25% capacity is about 800 people. Now, I don't know if anybody's ever counted, but what I can tell you is this. I don't think any of us have been to a Walmart or a Costco with 800 people in it. Even Costco, insane pre-pandemic, it wasn't 800 people in Costco. It really wasn't. I mean, there probably was 400, 500, right? So they're not at their 25% capacity, I would doubt. I could be wrong. It's possible. Those of you, maybe you know, and if you have a better idea, write it up down below. But I would say this. I think they're probably not at 25% capacity. And the capacities are different for every business. I get that. But if a big box store is at 25% capacity, okay, and that means that, there's 800 people in that store, that is not the safest plan. Sobeys at 25% capacity, I don't know what that number would be, but it's probably 100 people at least, maybe more, because it's a big footprint, right? So how do we do this in this more safe manner? I would suggest this. I would suggest that we open everybody up, small businesses too, not just big box, small businesses open with rules and say that you can only have 20% capacity. Maybe 25, but let's go low, 20% capacity. You'd have 20% of the normal population in your establishment. If you're allowed 30, Well, you know what? You have fewer now, but it does allow now the small business to operate. We can get the economy running. We can put people back to work. People are not on the CRB anymore, which is, you know what, frankly, good for all of us. We don't need more people on CRB. The fewer of us that are on, the better. The fewer prop-ups we have for small business down the road, the better. Because that is money that we all paid. It's your money and it's my money. Right? That's taxpayer dollars. So when a small business is given a handout, or we have to put somebody on EI or somebody on CRB, that's not actually good for anybody. Nobody wins that one. Right? And I think everybody understands that. We also don't win if only big box stores are open. And the problem is this: a big box store is not from Nova Scotia. That means then they take money in, they send money out to wherever their head office is and all their other spots. That's where the money goes. Small business, and 70% of Nova Scotia works for small business. 70%. That's a lot. That is a lot of people working for small business who are right now out of work, who are either on CRB or have no money at all. But when that small business is open, even at 20% capacity, you have the ability for that money to stay right here in Nova Scotia. When I take money into my business, I don't send it to Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, the States. It doesn't go there. Where does it go? It goes to me, my staff, my family. If I buy things, I buy them here. Guess what? That keeps our money insular right here in Nova Scotia. Better for everybody. Sending money out of the province is bad. Keeping money in the province is good. So how do we do this? Let's open up at 20% capacity for all businesses, and we put a bunch of rules in place. Yes, you have to distance. If you don't distance, it's not reasonable. I own a gym. I personally feel that 9 feet of space in any high-intensity type aerobic class is the best bet. I understand some of my colleagues will disagree with that because, you know what, they don't have the capacities to do that. I get it, and I know, and I understand your concerns, but I think 9 feet is safer. To me, it just is. So, you know what? If we're going to do that, let's go to 9 feet capacity on any high-intensity thing, 6 feet for everybody else. Masks are mandatory. You have to have checks. You have to be cleaning things, simple things like that. And then let's have some random checks of businesses and make sure they're complying. And if the business is not complying, fine them. We're finding businesses now. We're finding lots of businesses now for trying to be open. And listen, I understand the feeling of, shit, let's just open up. Because you know what? When you're not making money and you can't cover your bills, it is stressful. So I get where those small businesses are saying, damn it, I'm just going to open, or I'm just going to try to slide some clients in. I get the thought process. It's because when people are desperate, they will do desperate things. It's a fact. If I have no money and I have to feed my family and I have to pay bills or I'm going bankrupt, I am going to probably do some things that ordinarily I would not, just like everybody else. And this is why we have a problem right now. It's because small businesses out there are saying, shit, I'm stuck. They're being told, do your part, do your part, do your part. You don't get any money. You're broke. Too bad. You're doing your part. It's not reasonable, right? It's not a reasonable thing. So let's get them back open. Put a bunch of rules in place. I don't know all the rules. Listen, I'm not a doctor, right? Dr. Strang could speak better at this stuff on what the rules need to be than me. But I can say this. We opened in June last year. Yes, there weren't as many cases, but we had basically no cases all summer because we were vigilant, right? I don't know if opening right this very minute is the best bet, but I think within the next week or two, we have to open things, because if we don't open things, you're going to see a bunch more small businesses that are going to close. And more businesses closing is not good. Like I said, 70% of us work for small businesses. If 50% go out, that means there's a ton of people with no jobs. And I'm not saying this just because it's good for me. I'm saying this because it's good for the entire province. We can't have our province closed permanently. It just can't be. And those people who are home with pay, good on you. I get it. You know what? You're able to work from home. That's amazing. Good for you. But some of us can't. My wife owns a hair salon. She can't work from home. There's no remote work for that. I can do about this much from home. I can do some online, but for the most part, people don't want that. So my business really is an in-person business. It just is what it is. And for me to be able to take care of my family, to be able to take care of my staff, and to be able to pay my bills, I do need to be open. So let's open at 20%. Let's do like we did last year. Let's copy that. We did it once. We can do it again. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Premier Rankin, Dr. Strang, we're not reinventing the wheel here. It doesn't need to be a complete reinvention of the wheel. Look, it worked once. Let's stay vigilant. Let's stay on top of things. 100% we have to do our part. Everybody needs to do their part. We're all trying to do our part. It's just right now small businesses are dying. They're drowning in debt. And they're going to get more and more and more debt. And either the government has to give them handouts, which is not good for the tax situation, because we all have to pay that money back, or they have to open. So which one is it? I, as a small business owner, feel that it's better for us to be open, even in a reduced capacity, because at least we can attempt to pay our bills. I think that's best. I think it's best for us. I think it's best for our staff, our family, and I think it's best for Nova Scotia, rather than huge handouts. That's really the only option in place. If you're going to say, let's be closed for until July, my thought process is, are you going to pay my rent till July? I've said before, my rent's about $10,000 a month. Doesn't count my leaseholds. Doesn't count the lease of equipment. For me to have the doors open, no staff, just the doors open, costs about $16,500, $17,000 a month. Is the government going to pay for that? They're not. Now, should the government pay for that? No, I don't need them to pay for that, provided I'm open. So either the government has to pay that stuff because I'm closed, and you're putting me in a position where it's untenable. I can't make this work, or you have to let us open. So let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's open like we did last June. Let's move forward in an intelligent way. Let's put some rules in place to ensure the people are reopening, are doing the right things. We may get a little bump in numbers. We're probably never going to get back to zero. It sucks. But you know what? We're better off here than the rest of the country, and probably the rest of North America. And I understand people get stressed over 100 cases, 120 cases, 140 cases. But guess what? In the end of the day, that's nothing like 4,000, 5,000 cases. It's a lot less. We need to be reopened. We need to do it in a smart, effective, and safe manner. Premier Rankin, Dr. Strang, it's not rocket science. Do it like you did last time. It's doable. It's doable. Let's get it done. Let's put people back to work, and let's hopefully get this economy rerunning so that we can have a productive summer, and we're not going to have people out of debt. Sorry, we're not going to have people out of business. Let's not handicap our businesses in Nova Scotia. Let's try to get those businesses open. Let's not demonize small business for wanting to be open. It's okay that they want to work. Wanting to work is a good thing. Wanting to sit home on the government dime is a bad thing. That's a lazy thing. It's a shitty thing. And quite frankly, we're entrepreneurs. None of us want to do that. We want to go to work. Let us work. Let us work at a reduced capacity. Let's see if we can make this darn thing work. If you have comments, questions, things you think that I may have hit on or not hit on, write them up down below. I would love to hear from you. Have yourself an amazing day, everybody. Please stay safe. Don't fight the awesome.